Okay. Sorry, I forgot to press the button. Uh,
All
so
good. I
like
got a
going
question
with
for
today's theme of us talking about like EA and the announcement, like the official announcement of the new Dragon Age and the Mass Effect remaster slash sequel, whatever. I never had read the Kotaku article about Anthem, about what happened with Anthem and like why that game fucking sucked. And I'm reading it right now about how like the creative director left. Like apparently, BioWare employees had wanted Dragon Age Inquisition to fail because they were put
really.
under like extreme ass stress during the development of it. And they had hoped that it would fail to prove that you don't develop games this way and stuff like that. Like this shit's actually like a really fucking wild read.
Yeah, that's holy shit. They purposely went out of their way to damage the game.
No, they didn't.
Just
They
said that
didn't like.
stinks
They
here.
they didn't like sabotage it. They had just hoped that it would not succeed because they
Oh,
were you know, it was one of those like we've all heard at by now like what crunch culture is in game development, where they've got people that like they've got you working 60 hours a week trying to bang it out, you know, the last couple
yeah.
weeks before release and shit like that. Similar to probably what's happening right now with Cyberpunk, with the Cyberpunk delay by 21 days. There's not a lot you can do in fucking 21 days. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
so like the crunch culture of it, and like they had hoped that it would not be well received, and it was the 2014 game of the year. Like
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
damn good.
it's one of those
I
like damn.
enjoyed it.
Um, but they had hoped that it didn't work, wasn't going to work out because of the fact that like they wanted the higher ups to see that this is not how this should work, and
Right, the crunch.
you know that didn't work because they still didn't.
Still did really well.
Yeah. So
So, in my personal opinion, I think Dragon Age Inquisition was honestly a fantastic game. I actually recently went back and replayed it for myself because the first time I played through the game, I played as an elven mage, and that was a whole different ordeal. I wasn't expecting like the racism and everything to come into play. Like I already knew that in the game, people are very racist towards elves and such. And God, I hate throwing out the R card, but just um, but they're very racist towards elves in Dragon Age, right? Like
mhm.
we can both agree to this, right? I mean, they have terrible names for them. And so I wasn't honestly expecting my character to get treated the way that I was because of like my standing as the Inquisitor. But even as the Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition, you're still treated as shit as an elf. It doesn't matter like what you've done like towards the end, like people outside of the Inquisition will still call you like knife ear and so on and so forth. And that was a whole ass different experience, man. Good morning, Shads. Good morning. Also, good morning, Kite. I hope you guys are, or good afternoon to you, actually, Kite. I know it's a little bit later where you're at. So I hope you guys are having a great time, great day so far. But yes, so as far as Inquisition goes, I honestly enjoyed it. I'm happy I went back and replayed it. I replayed it as a human this time, but I went with a great sword kind of thing. I wanted to see what the great sword was about because I usually play mage in these kinds of games. Um, and as far as like the RPGs go and stuff, like whenever I'm playing like MMO, I tend to use like heavy hitter characters, like
Mhm.
big sword and everything. But I wanted to see what it was going to be like, and the Reaver class honestly kind of threw me for a shock. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. But essentially, it's based around taking the blood of a dragon and infusing it with yourself, and then you can use like dragon-esque abilities to fight, and it damages the user, but it can also heal them at the same time. it's a whole ass different thing. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and like going back and replaying it has gotten me super excited for Dragon Age 4. Now, they haven't released a lot of information. Correct me if I'm wrong, you're
They've
right, but they
basically
haven't.
just said it exists.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's here. It's in existence. We're working on it. We swear. Here's some information for you, and I actually have right here. Let's see. Um, So, as of 13 days ago, they put out the BioWare Fantasy Epic Dragon Age 4 with concept art. And they've got like Solus in the front. I can kind of show it a little bit here. Hold on. They've got Solus hanging out as like part of the concept art right here. And what is it? They're saying Dragon Age 4 is happening. Thank the maker. While it's hard not to get overly excited about the prospect and the returning of status, we're still in for quite a wait. So they are working on it. They are not expecting to release this anytime soon. It's probably going to be released somewhere next year or the year after next for as far as the trailer goes. Like as far as an official trailer goes for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So it will not. It looks like it's not coming to the current gen, or I guess the
Last
old
gen
gen
now.
now. Yeah, this is the last gen now. Since our last podcast, the new generation of consoles have officially been released.
Hmm.
Um, and oh god, I tried so hard to get my hands on a PS5. I actually have a chance of getting one today at the BX because there was two that were left there last night that no one went and claimed. So I'm waiting till about around 10 o'clock, but I'm probably not gonna go for it. Because I feel like regardless if I get there at like 9:30, I'm not gonna be able to snag it. Like they're gonna like people who are there are gonna run all the way to the back of the damn building to try and get what they're trying to get. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be like a hellscape. So Thomas, let's talk about Dragon Age
Hmm.
though. Okay.
Okay.
So what are your overall thoughts on Dragon Age? As far as the first game, as far as the second game, as far as Inquisition, and looking forward from there. What do you think?
So like I loved the first game. I didn't really enjoy the combat of it because it was more like the old school like tactical RPG kind. It wasn't like really like an action RPG.
Right.
Which really like at the time it was fine. I was down. You know, like I didn't have an issue with it. The story was great. The length of the game was great because you could do a fucking lot of stuff in that game. It's a really
Sure enough.
long RPG. I remember first time I dive my first playthrough, I was a dwarf that sacrificed himself, and I was kind of pissed off because like you picked a dwarf and like I was like, you can't use magic at all. Damn, that's wild. Like what the
That
fuck?
sucks.
And I ended up like sacrificing myself to the dragon, and then every playthrough after that, or actually like my whole history of playing Dragon Age 1, all I wanted to do was fuck Morgan. That's like that's all I wanted to do.
What is that? A dwarf climbing a mountain? So that would be.
I don't know, but all I know is I wanted her to have my babies. That's all I know.
So you got that? You got that ending? Did she? Did you do the business?
Yes, it was the it
What
was
did you?
no wait no, yeah no, it was the one where like someone had to die. Like you had to like I got the one where he died, and then like the funeral was great. Like it was a sicko thing, but like you're
Sicko
dead.
mode funeral.
Like you're dead, so whatever. But story was really good. It was very much like a fantasy version of Knights of the Old Republic. Like that was really where I could make most of my analogies at the time. Was this is a fucking fantasy Knights of the Old Republic game? This is sick.
Right.
The second game, story wise, was trash. The second story was really bad. It was really
Really?
short. It was really short. It was really
I
like
liked it.
disjointed. Like the shit really didn't make any fucking sense. Like
I really like the
they had
second
El
game.
Senor fucking emo kid, the Deventer fucking. Oh, I'm so damaged. I'm so just damaged. I just like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, I get it, you were a slave. Like, that's trash. I got you. I'm here with that. But goddamn, do you bitch? But the gameplay was phenomenal.
Right.
Like, I really enjoyed the gameplay of it. The combat was sicko.
The combat was nice.
And the subclasses like were really good and shit like that. So like it had very kinetic combat and there was a lot of feedback and it was really great.
Right.
But like I just wish that there was more because like the side quest didn't really exist. Like it wasn't very it was almost like a third to maybe half the size, but also it was very like contained. Like you went, you were revisiting old areas a lot. Like everything was like same place doing different thing kind of shit. Like I didn't really enjoy that. And then I liked I liked Hawk. Like I loved Hawk. Best quote from that game was Chris said that he would fuck female Hawk for her eyes. Because like they were like this like crystal blue color. It was wild. And then
oh my fucking god.
But like besides that, like it didn't really I remember one time like I was so pissed off because there was a mushroom I needed to get. And like the mushroom spawned in one place. And if you missed it, because right after this section that like you had access to this point to get this mushroom, if you missed the mushroom was gone forever.
Yeah.
And so like, you would have to restart the game to get the mushroom. And that whole thing that just, I was pissed. I just feel like it could have been just so much better than what it was. Kind of like you could see the potential in it, kind of like how the second half of Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2 like gets kind of fucking like disjointed. Like you're like,
that's when the team fell apart. Really,
you're like, wait,
at the second half of that game.
You're like, wait, what? Why? What? Why? Huh?
Like it was all good. It was like, really good until that point, and then it's like, wait, what's happening now?
So actually, like a micro tangent on Nitro Republic 2. If you bought the strategy guide for Nitro Republic 2, the strategy guide, like the physical, like Prima strategy guide, was different than the game.
Yeah, I do remember this.
That shit, because like like my brother's playing a game and I'm like looking at the strategy guide or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, this is really fucking sick. Well, I'm like, oh wow, this stuff is gonna happen at the game. This is dope. And then like you play it to that point, and you're like, wait,
what the fuck's happening?
None of this is here. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like what? That shit was wild. So, and I feel like Dragon Age 2 suffered like the same thing. Like they had a very good like here is the thing. You can just build it off of like here's the skeleton, just build off of the skeleton and it'll be fine. And I feel like they didn't. They either tried to do too much and ended up doing too little, or tried to do too many different things, and then therefore no one thing besides the combat was extremely exceptional.
Right.
I feel like Inquisition was more of the bridge between the first two games. The story was a lot more fleshed out. Everything was a lot more accessible and open, and it made you feel like you were making weighty decisions when it came to like the Inquisition and protecting the Inquisition and protecting the people and doing your job.
It felt like what you were doing mattered.
Right. And it felt like there was a weight. You carried a weight and a title to the world. And that really mattered to me. Also, like because I actually replayed Inquisition the beginning of this year, I think. And I'd never played like the DLC or anything, and like, cause like spoiler alert, like they cut your fucking hand off.
Yeah.
That shit was.
Good morning.
That shit was wild.
Good morning, Zero. Zero says good morning to you as well. Rewrite.
Hello. I don't know. Listen, boys. I'm gonna be honest. I was up till 5 a.m. podcasting this morning, then playing Phasmophobia, and I was drunk as shit. And then I had to wake up and do this. Like, so
Yes.
I am here. I'm here. I'm at 100%, but I'm still kind of like floaty. Um,
So, um, going off of what you're saying about the Dragon Age 3 Inquisition DLC, um, I actually have not played the Inquisition DLC, but I have had it spoiled for me a long time ago, which is fine because at that point the game had already been out and the DLC had already been out for a while. So it like I got the spoiler. It's on my fault for not playing it. You know what I mean?
mhm,
But my thing is that as far as Dragon Age 1 goes, I think Dragon Age 1 is one of those like it's a classic masterpiece. You know what
mhm,
I mean? Like the first Knights of the Old Republic game. Like those games can't be recreated and done in that way anymore at this point. Like it's we've moved so far beyond that kind of combat style and gaming and such that to go back would just seems like we were like de-evolving from where we're at, right? So like for instance, let's speak in this tone for a moment. I'm gonna move away from this and I'll bring it back. Okay, so let's talk about like Assassin's Creed. Okay, like Assassin's Creed is, in my opinion, I think is an absolutely amazing game series. Now, do I think it's gone on for a little bit too long? Yeah, kind of. Like I love it, and don't get me wrong, Valhalla is an amazing experience. Okay, but at this point, like they're using the name to just kind of like
to make an RPG franchise.
exactly, and I wouldn't be upset to see the Hidden Blade in a different game besides Assassin's Creed. You know what I'm saying? Like the Hidden Blade doesn't have to be an Assassin's Creed exclusive. You could even make something within the same universe after the events of Assassin's Creed that isn't involved in Assassin's Creed, where someone has a hidden blade. You know what I'm saying? It's a no one would really be upset about it if you wanted to go the full RPG route. You know what I'm saying? Like no one would be mad. Like if you want to play Assassin's Creed, there's Assassin's Creed games to play. But I miss that they removed the current day storylines in Assassin's Creed. Yes, that's like a big gripe for a lot of people. Is like the modern day. That's like what a lot of people were wanting from Desmond was to be able to experience the modern day Assassin's Creed. But when Desmond died, a lot of people were very upset about it. But I honestly didn't care. Like mostly, I was happy with the experience that we got in Assassin's Creed 3. I'm going. Hold on. I am flying off the hinges here. So, um, what I was getting at was that look at Valhalla, right? We can't go back to what Assassin's Creed 1 is. There's
Mhm.
so much in these Assassin's Creed games now that we can't go back to Assassin's Creed 1 or Assassin's Creed 2 for that matter with Ezio. We have so much more in the games now and what we can do and what we are allowed to do and how we interact with the people around us and how combat is and so like we can't go back to that. That's why Assassin's Creed 2 is like a classic favorite. Like everyone who likes Assassin's Creed, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, but Assassin's Creed 2 was my favorite." It wasn't my favorite, but that's the general consensus is that Ezio is everyone's favorite assassin in the game. Now, going back to what I was saying is we can't go back to what Dragon Age 1 was from Dragon Age 3, or even Dragon
Mhm.
Age 2 for that matter, due to how much the combat system has evolved or how much the the way that you interact with characters has evolved or so on and so forth. Like we have a full open ish world now in Inquisition, right?
Mhm.
And in Dragon Age 1 and 2 we had hub worlds, you know? And we're moving away from hub worlds. Like honestly, like when you see a game and it has a hub world in it, it's kind of a shocker at this point. Like when they released Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I was blown away at the fact that there was a hub world system in the game. You know what I mean? Like they could have made the whole map, but they decided to do hub worlds. I mean, it's fine, but we're moving away at that point. So if they
It
ever
feels
decide to make
very
another game,
it feels very archaic.
yeah, exactly. So if they ever decide to make another game, it they need to stay away from it because a lot of people were kind of like, why would you do that? Like look at Fable 3. At the moment that Fable 3 was released, right? Like we had massive open world games. Why did you do a hub world?
Mhm.
You know? Uh, Zero says same with Mass Effect. I feel. Yeah, exactly. Like we can't go back to what Mass Effect 1 was. You know what I
I
mean?
actually genuinely hope for the remaster of the Mass Effect trilogy that they rekit Mass Effect 1's combat to be like Mass Effect 2 and 3's.
I agree.
Because Mass Effect
Now,
1's combat was really clunky.
Now, in my experience of Dragon Age, right? So in Dragon Age 1, I played an elf as well, but I played a ranger, not ranger. I guess it would be a thief, I think it was. The one with the where you have the two daggers. It's just a rogue class. And I played that. Now, that was a whole experience for me. I really enjoyed it. Now, it didn't make much sense playing a rogue in that kind of game, considering how the combat was. Like, to me, no, it didn't, because I was standing in front of somebody and hitting knives on them, and then I could activate an ability, and then I would teleport behind them. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like that takes away from the mobility of the player. Like, at the time it's okay because we couldn't do much. But now you're playing a rogue in Dragon Age 3 or even 2 for that matter. You have the ability to position yourself wherever you want to position. You're not going to lock onto a character and your character's going to run over there to that character and attack the character at that point. You know what I mean? Like you can go stand on this freaking cliff over here, target character, activate an ability, or stand over there, whatever you're doing. You know, like you don't have to stand in front of the enemy anymore. Hello, Blaze. Good morning. Welcome to the podcast. Um, so yeah, so like we've moved away from that, you know, and it's fine. It's good to have games that we can fall back on, Dragon Age One, such as Dragon Age One, or even Knights of the Old Republic One. And moving from Dragon Age 1 to Dragon Age 2, I honestly really liked Hawk as a character. I thought that he was solid. And apparently it's canon that he's a mage in the game. And not just a mage, he's a blood mage, you know,
Yeah, because
which is
his
fucking wild.
dad was a blood mage or some shit.
Yeah.
But he was a
But
Grey
like,
Warden, so like it was like you can't arrest me, bitch, because I'm a
yeah.
Grey Warden. Suck
Yeah,
my
exactly.
dick.
He's like, I'm untouchable, motherfucker. Like, but Hawk wasn't. He wasn't a Grey Warden. He was just a Hawk, and he was a blood mage, and he was running around this town full of Templars who were out to get mages. You know what I mean? No one did a
Mhm.
fucking thing about it. That didn't make any sense to me. You know, like why is it that I'm able? Like I just watched you arrest like 30 mages, and I'm right here, and you're asking me to help you do a quest. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? But as far as what Dragon Age 2 was, I really enjoyed Dragon Age 2 from the moment it began to the moment that it ended with Corypheus, gosh, it's a fucking name, right? But with Corypheus and Dragon Age 3, I feel like you said it best there. It's like a combination between the first Dragon Age and second Dragon Age, like the combat, the way you interact, your level up system, the way that you can like special classes and spec into special classes and such. Like 3 did really well, regardless of you know the work conditions that they were put under by EA. And I will say, man, like I've told everyone this, I've told you this several times. I cannot stand EA as a franchise. I just can't. I don't like them. I said I would never buy another game from them. I bought Avengers as a way of just being like, I'll give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like they already said no microtransactions or anything. But
The
what
new
happened?
Avengers
Yeah, yeah.
that was Square.
Oh, was it Square? I thought EA dropped the.
Square published it. It was developed by Crystal Dynamics.
Oh yeah. You're right. I don't know why I thought that. Fuck. I was literally talking about Avengers being by the same company that made fucking Kingdom Hearts earlier. I don't know why I said that. But yeah. Anyway, my bad. That's my bad. Can we like cut that out? That'd be cool.
Listen,
But
boys, I promise I'm not a fucking dumbass.
I swear, I'm just tired. I've been up for fucking 30, almost 20 hours at this point. Jedi Fallen Order is EA, and it's a really good game. See, I didn't play Fallen Order. I didn't play Fallen Order, and the reason I didn't play Fallen Order is because I was told that it was a really short game. It was like really, really short. There wasn't a lot of character building that would have been able to happen throughout it and understanding of what's going on in the story. But from what Rewrite has said, it's a pretty fucking good game. So eventually, I will check it out.
Game's
I
sick
am a
as
huge Star
fuck.
Wars geek. Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars geek myself. If you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it's on there now. Oh damn, really? I might just I might pick it up on my Xbox. I almost sold my Xbox earlier just so I could afford PS5. I'm happy I didn't because Game Pass is probably one of the most clutch things in the world. So
speaking
I don't know.
speaking so speaking of EA, EA
Mhm.
Play is now a part of Game Pass.
I did see that. Yeah, yeah.
Me and
That's
Zero
kind of
on
fucking
the
hype.
same wavelength right now. Like,
EA Play is part of Game Pass. Yeah, yeah. So that is a thing, and like with the new generation of consoles being out now, like I can only imagine what we're gonna get on the Game Pass at this point. Like now that they've officially it's a merged thing, they can do so much more. They can release so many new and or old like AAA titles on the pass. That's huge. That's huge.
mhm.
I'm expecting to see Tiger Woods golf on there for some reason. I don't know why. That's the one thing that came to my mind when they said EA was going to be on Game Pass. I was like, Tiger Woods golf's going to be on Game Pass. I don't want to fucking play a Tiger Woods game. But so yeah, as far as Dragon Age goes, Dragon Age 4. What are some things that you're wanting to see out of Dragon Age 4? And I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. But I've been talking for a minute, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and say your piece on this.
I honestly, I just want it to be like, it kind of falls in a similar vein of conversation as like the Fable conversation, where
Mhm.
you want it to bring it all together and make fucking sense. Like,
Right.
I hated the fact that, the, like, the Dragon Age stories have been almost fully like self-contained thus far. There is like a small part that gets thrown to the next game and a small part that gets thrown into the next game again. It's just like Morg her name is Morgan, right?
Yeah, Morgan. She's
Yeah.
in Inquisition too.
Yes, she had my baby and I had a son. Like
Yeah,
shit was
yeah. I
wild.
had a son too. I had a son,
And
but I didn't die in the first game.
nah, that was a whole different character. And then like, you're out here like apparently your character, if he lived from Dragon Age 1, is like out doing shit.
hmm
Like, and she's like, look, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, listen, we need you to save the world again. Oh, you're busy? Oh, you said the Inquisitor got it? Okay. Well, there's a stash somewhere? Sick. Okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, love you. Mwah, bye. Uh like um I want that to be more like prevalent amongst itself. Like I wanted I mean like think about the fall off of like the Grey Warners between the first game and the second game. Like
Yeah.
you're built up as this ancient organization, like slick, analogous to like Jedi and stuff like that, where like they're like the people that come in clutch when shit goes sideways. And then
Right.
like you meet 4 in the second game, and really it's like your brother can become one because he gets uh taken by the blight or whatever, and you're like he can go through the ritual, and or your sister or whatever, whichever one like lived.
Yeah.
Um and they can become a Grey Warden to not die, but then like they play a very small role from that point forward. And then in 3, like you you re you can like find the treaties again about like, hey, the Grey Wardens say that like during bullshit, like you can use these treaties to get them, and they're like, oh, the keep's empty or whatever because you get a Grey Warden that's not a Grey Warden, and I forgot what the guy's name is. He's the shield and sword guy. Um, but
Oh
like
yeah, it's time. Yes, it is.
I hope that 4 brings all of those stories like and
Together.
reintertwines them,
Yeah.
because I feel like
Especially with what happened in 3.
because I mean Hawk shows up for like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
and he's like, "Yo, I'm here. What's up? I'm here to help out." You're
Did you
like,
leave Hawk? Did you leave Hawk in the fucking abyss?
fuck no."
Okay, good,
That was
because I sacrificed the warden. I was like, "Fuck the warden, bro. I don't give a shit about the warden." I was like, "We gonna bring Hawk. We gonna bring Hawk back in." Playing Metroid Prime 3 with you guys in the background. It's pretty good. Nice. Thank you for joining us, Marshall. I appreciate you hanging out, man. Also, Metroid's pretty solid too. So actually, I think Kite's in here. Kite's a huge Metrovania person, so he really likes those kinds of games.
give me
Um,
another Metroid Prime.
like what we had on the GameCube,
Yeah, the
or
shit was
yeah,
fire.
I would, yeah, I would love that.
I mean, the
Um,
old school one like would be fine too, I guess. But
yeah,
I would prefer the
the
third person
3D
shooter one.
third person, first person
Oh
shooter.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a first person. Um, Now, yeah, going back on Dragon Age here, I think I agree with you. Like, they need to re-intertwine the storylines. I mean, in my playthrough, since you can carry your saves all the way through. Um, my warden lived. We slayed the dragon. Morgana had my kid, but then she ran away.
Mm-hmm.
She left. She disappears. Right. But apparently they get back together during the events of Dragon Age 2. And in Dragon Age
It's a
2,
DLC in Dragon Age One.
yes, yeah. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Okay. So in Dragon Age 2, my hawk lived, my sister died, and then I slayed Corypheus and I helped the mages create the new circle of magi, right? And then let
Mm-hmm.
them go on up amongst themselves and do whatever the fuck they were doing. As long as they were monitored, which is what I established in the game as well, was like the monitor system and everything. And then in Dragon Age 3, during Inquisition, I helped Hawk. I decided to save him from putting him in the abyss to fight that thing by his fucking self. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, he could totally take this thing. Like, there's no way that he couldn't, right? I mean, he has to be able to. He fought Corypheus in the second one and killed Corypheus. Killed Corypheus, you know? And, I mean, he was a fucking badass. He was, like, notoriously doing badass shit the entire time in 3, or in 2. And so, like, I immediately was like, oh, yeah, dude, he could probably do it. But I don't give a shit about this warden. And he was only introduced now. So I could care less. So I sacrificed the warden to bring Hawk with me, and I feel like that was a good choice. I reestablished the Grey Wardens because for some reason the Grey Wardens were being idiots all throughout the entire third game. I have no idea what was going on with the Grey
They
Wardens, but
literally they apparently like went to some keep and then they fucking disappeared.
yeah. And then they all started getting like mind controlled by Corypheus, which was wild considering Corypheus was part of the Blight, or he was blighted essentially, and they're supposed to be immune to the blight, but he was able to interfere with them and
He
like mentally fuck them up.
what he did is like when a Grey Warden's at the end of like their life cycle before the blight takes them, they hear like the call and
Yeah,
or whatever, and they go to the deep roads to fight Darkspawn until they die. And
yeah,
somehow he was able to like switch that on for literally all of them.
all of them.
And
Yeah, and they all started disappearing
so they
into
all
the
just went to the deep roads to go die.
yeah.
Also, Zero, you should definitely play Dragon Age because they're fire.
Yeah, you should. Dragon Age is probably one of my favorite series, next to Metal Gear. Obviously, I love Metal Gear. Marshall says,
Fucking nerd.
but for now, fuck you. Marshall says, for now, I play Metroid Prime Trilogy using Prime Hack on my own copy of Metroid Prime. Nice, I can dig it. Is Dragon Age on PC? Yes, Dragon Age is on PC. In fact, I think it's actually on sale in Steam right now, or on Steam right now. If you want to go check that out, I would definitely suggest it. If you haven't played any of the Dragon Age games, go play Dragon Age. It is probably one of the best, well-written stories as far as RPGs, continual RPGs go. And I'm not talking about Mass Effect. Okay, we'll get into Mass Effect here in a minute, but as far as Dragon Age goes, Dragon Age is a masterpiece for what it is. Now, Dragon Age 2 is kind of up in the air because a lot of people don't like it and a lot of people do like it. So it's kind of like a 50-50 split there. Either you do or you don't. So take that for what it's worth, I guess. But Yes. So, as I was saying, like my warden lived, Hawk lived. His my brother died. I reestablished the circle, and then in Inquisition, I reestablished the wardens, and then I sent them off to go help fight the war. Like they joined me, and then after they joined me, they left. I guess is what it was. They left to go do their thing and reestablish the order. And Blackwall didn't leave with them or anything, so that's cool because I like Blackwall. Blackwall's a really cool character. And then we sold Inquisition on PS4 a long time ago now, but then I rebought it on Xbox. Solid. Inquisition is a really good game. Really, really good. I think so.
The spell sword subclass for the mage is broken.
Oh, they fucking nerfed it. It's gone. You can't
No,
use it anymore.
it's still broken. Like it's
It's
because I
still- it's still
replayed
OP,
earlier
but-
this year because it's not as
broken.
because it used to be like when the game first came out, like you know how they have like the armor and the shield system, it would chew through that shit, and you would just
and
stand
it would build yours.
yeah, and you could just face tank and just be like
and
just
constantly hitting
not
the sword
die.
attack. Like when I did it, I would, because you could essentially not die. I would just sit there using the sword over and over again. And then I would use a fire spell, since it absorbs half of your natural like magic shield to boost your magic damage when you use a fire attack. So I would just do that and then keep boosting my freaking shield back up and attacking again. And then so in Inquisition, I did all that, reestablished the Wardens, I sent them on their way. I reestablished the Templar Order as well. No. I disbanded the Templars is what I did. So I got rid of the Templar Order in Inquisition. Mostly because the pathing that they were taking was fucked, right? And like the new law and everything that they were trying to influence and create for themselves was fucked. So I wasn't about it, and I thought it would be good if we just completely got rid of the Templar Order, right? That oversees the mages, and we rebuild something new instead of the Templar Order, where it's not about like a divinity or anything. It's about a fucking job. Like your job is to make sure the mages don't go batshit crazy. Okay, because the one problem that I had with the Templar Order is that they were strictly divinity based, right? Like they were all about preserving like the gods of that world, right? And fighting for the Chantry. So I got rid of it. I was like, fuck that. No, we don't need that shit, because you're letting your religious thought process influence everything, and that can get in the way. Like it needs to be a clean slate. Doesn't matter what you are or what you believe in or whatever it is. Like you need to, if you're gonna watch over the mages, you need to make sure that it's a fair thing, and it's not because
you're here
you're
here to protect the mages, not to kill mages.
Exactly.
You might have to kill mages if you have to, but you are here to protect them first and foremost.
Exactly. And they became more of like a mage slaying group rather than what they were supposed to do. So I disbanded them entirely. And then I made Cassandra the Chantry, the new Chantry woman. I forget what they're called, but I made
the Divine.
Cassandra. Yeah, the new Divine. By the way, did you guys manage to get PS5s like you wanted to? I did not.
I'm chilling right now. I'm gonna get both an Xbox Series X and a PS5 come like February.
So you want
March.
an Xbox? I got an Xbox for you.
What, a Series X?
Yeah. It's literally okay. So at Walmart, right? They have like 10 Series X's sitting on the shelf, and no one's bought them.
That's wild.
They're just sitting there, and they're not pre-orders or anything. Because I asked about the PS5s at Walmart, and they were like, "We're not selling PS5s." And I was like, "Oh, damn!" And they were like, "But we have the Series X if you want to get it. It's on the shelf right over there." I was like, "Really?" So they took me over there. They have like 10 just sitting lined up, and I was like, "Anyone gonna buy these? Like, what the fuck?" But no one got them. Like they're still sitting there. I went to Walmart yesterday.
A lot of people opted for the S because it was cheaper. Um, and plus, like people were sending like hokey ass stories about the Series X like exploding or whatever.
Well, people
Because
were blowing vape
vape
smoke
smoke into it to get it to smoke.
What the fuck? So stupid.
Also, you can apparently with the Series X, you can float a ping pong ball above it.
Yeah, you can like
Like,
leave it and it'll sit there.
That's kind of sick. That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
One of the things, like, this is a weird thing to, like, I guess state out loud, but like the PS5 is so like big, and that makes it really ugly to me. Like, it's huge.
I agree.
The bitch is like this big.
It's fucking massive.
Like, it's so big. And I'm like, bro, it doesn't have to be this big.
You could have reduced it. Like, no one, look how simple and plain the PS4 is.
Yeah, like, and the thing is like, form factor speaking, like the simplicity of it is aesthetically pleasing, and this one's like they pivoted back to almost a PS3 style of like very rounded edges and stuff, which I thought was fucking ugly back then because it was. And
yes, it was.
and it's very weird that they took the design choice that they did with the aesthetics of the actual console.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish that they had to like maybe like think tank that shit some more, because like everyone's like, oh, the Xbox is a giant brick. Like, yeah, but it's a form factor PC basically. Like,
yeah, and I can literally sit it in the corner of my room and never look at it.
Right.
I absolutely have to.
You get the
and I won't even hear it.
You get the fucking little like compressed air, and like every once in a while just
Yep.
Still kicking over there, buddy? Good job.
Hey, thank you so much for the 10-bit Zero. I appreciate it, man. He says, Zero says, Microsoft is winning, I would say. I love the Series X. It's so fast and quiet. I like both designs, actually. I don't really care for the PlayStation design. I'm hoping that they release another PlayStation 5 design where they take off this weird, like, white casing that's around it that Thomas is pointing out. The weird fucking oval casing.
Like, why is it like it's like fins?
Yeah, like
it's so weird.
It looks like if it dropped, it would break that fin. I'm sure we'll see pro versions of the consoles.
I actually don't think we'll see pro versions of the consoles this time around, because you cannot go up in hardware quality for the consoles this time around without jacking up the price.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
These are literally like top of the line like consoles. They're actually they're both comparable to a mid-range PC, which they're designed to do that. Microsoft actually like straight up said that shit. Like,
right.
And just for them to go up anymore, like you're talking about $200-300 more, because because the thing is you have to think that both companies are breaking almost even sales wise by the consoles being $500. That's why they played price. That's why they played. That's why they played Price Chicken for so long, because they waited until like, what was it, about a month and a half ago before they released prices, and both because both of them were like, because I bet you 500 was Xbox's like standard, like that's what they wanted was $500.
Yeah,
because they could just make the cheaper option for $200 less, and then just because it's all digital or whatever, and that was their sales plan. They kept that in their pocket, and Sony had option to go highball with 600, but Microsoft was ready to counter with 5. And because Microsoft's prices were leaked first, and because of that, that's when PlayStation was like, "Look, they've got us outgunned this time around, boys. Like we've got to wear this hard L on $500, and just pray that the services sell themselves. Like, pray." Which apparently, like, Miles Morales is doing really well.
It looks good.
It does look good. It does look good. I'll say that it looks phenomenal. But Demon's
Souls is doing really well.
I heard it got a 6. Like, people that I know and trust that rate the game, not like news outlets or whatever, they were like, 6 out of 10.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. I thought that from what I've seen and how it looks and what people are reacting to and everything, it seems like it's doing really well. I will say, so I watched a video uh last night because I wanted to bring this up while we were doing the podcast. So I watched a video last night and it had the new Xbox, the new PlayStation, and then the old Xbox and old PlayStation, right? And it had load times specifically towards Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I mean it's the same all the way around, right? Like you pick one game and you should expect relatively the same load screens, you know. So they timed each one of them, and they timed the PS4 and the Xbox One, and the PS4 took a minute and 54 seconds to load up the game, right? So like you're sitting at the main screen, right? Like it says, press to continue game. You press continue game, minute 54 seconds for it to load everything it needs to load and get into the game, right? And the Xbox One, they're at the main screen. They hit continue game. They have a minute and 20 seconds on the Xbox One. Okay. Now, the PS5, when they did it, was 12 seconds. It was like 12.3 seconds. And then when the new Xbox did it, it was 17.8 seconds. And so I don't know if that matters at all, but that's kind of fucking impressive. Like, it's really impressive. Like, it went from literally like a minute, almost 2 minutes, down to 15 seconds to load an entire massive map. Both are just insanely fast. Yeah, they're absolutely fast. They're so fucking fast.
So like it's reinforcing the content path that I like am taking, which is I wanted to invest heavier on consoles being for my like single player experiences. And because these consoles are like definitely feeding into that, which is why like I have to get them. Like I have to.
Yeah.
Because the load off of my PC is going to be fucking crazy.
Immense. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm deciding to do too is any kind of like solo game like that I that chat's interested in or that I'm interested in, I play on my consoles. And then whenever I need to play something that's like computer related, I play it on my computer. I never download anything that I can get on my consoles on my computer. Also, quick resume is amazing on Xbox. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw there was somebody who was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they had like 3 other games open, and they would swap in between all 3 of the games, and it would immediately pick up as like from the exact point that they just dropped out of it. You know, that's pretty cool. That's really fucking cool. But so going away from this and bringing it back to the topic at hand, right? So we're talking about Dragon Age, and as far as Dragon Age 4 goes, I want them to bring it all back and intertwine it and make it relative. Like bring the Warden back if you want to. I would love to see my Warden come back. You know, on PS5 graphics, that'd be fucking wild. Like I saw last time I saw him, I was playing on an Xbox 360. You know what I mean? Like 2 generations of a jump to the new system. Like that'd be crazy if it made it look like my Warden, you know, and rescaled him and made him look like PS5 graphics or Xbox graphics, whatever. And I want the Warden to be there. I want Hawk to be there. I want Varric there. I want everybody there, and I want everything to intertwine into like. There's a huge fucking problem going on right now, and we need literally everything that we can to stop it from happening. You know?
Because like what is it? What is it? Solas is the dire wolf or some shit? Like he's some kind of fucking bullshit deity?
Yeah.
Out here to fuck shit up?
Morgan's mom stole the soul of an old god? Like, what? And she drank from the well. So there's so many things there that are gonna like blow up in the next game that need to blow up in the next game. Like those are major events. Solas being a fucking deity, like what the shit? Like I didn't expect that. He was just some kind of boring mage to me. I didn't need him on my team. I was already playing a fucking elf mage.
I just thought he was I just thought he was a prick.
Yeah,
like,
he was
because he was very posh and very fucking just I don't know. He's a jackass. And I'm just
he sounded like he talks down to you, you know? Like he talks down to your character, it feels like.
He did, and that shit
Yeah.
like if you thought Solus was sick, like bro, you like abusive relationships. Like I don't know what to fucking say. Like cuz that dude is just a prick.
Jesus.
Gods are usually the jackass type if we're being honest.
True enough.
At least he's not angry.
My
Typically they're
gods,
angry too.
my gods are very sporadic. So
I don't know,
for
man.
those of you, huh?
You ever played Ashura's Wrath? Like they're all
Yeah, I
just
did.
they're all madder than fucking that game.
So Marshall, I'm actually Norse pagan, so I worship the Norse gods. So they're kind of fucking sporadic over there. They're kind of all over the damn place. Um, so uh, yes, so those are the major points in which like I want to see pop off as far as the fourth Dragon Age game goes. And honestly, like if we don't get to kill Solus, I'm gonna be mad as fuck. Like I hated him. I fucking hated Solus so much.
I'm gonna be
And then
super pissed off if it's one of those things that like subvert expectation kind of games where like you roll through the very beginning and then you just and it's like, well shit, now what?
yeah,
Because
what do we do now?
some games like love to do that where like you roll through in the first like couple quests and then you like murder your buddy.
Well, hello, Sparta.
Okay. Go get food? Question mark? Go.
All right.
Goodbye. 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 For those of you who don't know, one, that was my son, Sparta. He turned 6 next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
6 years old, Zach.
Yeah.
6 years old, Zach. And two,
Daddyhood.
in my household, Sunday's donut day. Like we go to Dunkin' Donuts every Sunday, and I just haven't like done that yet
He's
because
grown.
I'm gonna do that
Blaze
after
says he's
podcast.
grown.
Bro, they
Dunkin' Donuts on Sundays.
yeah. Kids eat donuts. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, man. I want to go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Come on through. We'll go.
You try to swing some Dunkin'. Look, I got all my stuff set up now, so that's cool. We completely rearranged this whole living room. That's a pretty good name now that I think about it. Yeah.
It's Sparta with a D,
Thomas
not a
is very
T.
creative.
It's
Yeah.
actually based on Dante's dad and Devil May Cry. I'm not gonna lie.
Sparta
Sparta with a D, as
with a
in
D.
duh.
With duh.
And his
Anyway.
and his middle name. Look, like his middle name is sick as fuck. His middle name is Redgrave.
That's a pretty kick-ass name.
That's like he is going to fight kids in like 15 years, and I hope he doesn't. But you know, he's God's plan. Whatever.
Shouldn't make him a UFC fighter. God's plan.
Like he doesn't
Make him a
even need a
UFC
stage name. His name is sick as fuck.
Yeah, swear to God. Sparta Redgrave. Anyway. Oh fuck, what were we talking about? Oh yeah,
We're talking about Dragon Age 4.
Oh yeah,
We're talking about Dragon Age 4. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to go to Dunkin' now, bro. You trying to go to Dunkin'? Yeah, so Dragon Age 4, what was I saying?
You want to kill
God.
Solus.
Oh yeah, I want to kill Solus. I want to kill Solus, and I kind of want to put Morgana's mom down. The Dragon Age podcast. Oh, actually, it's more than Dragon Age that we're talking about in this podcast. But yeah, we have been talking about Dragon Age for a minute now. But yeah, so I kind of want to go ahead and put Morgana's mom down too, or Morrigan's mom down. She stole the soul from her own grandchild. If that ain't kill worthy, rewrite, I don't know what is, to be real with you. He's back.
Not right now, baby. We're gonna go get donuts after the podcast.
So anyways, let's talk, chat. What do you guys want to see from for the new Dragon Age game? Go ahead, take a little moment here. I don't play Dragon Age. Well, you should. You should, Marshall. You should play Dragon Age. we're gonna be talking about Mass Effect as well in this podcast, and we're gonna be talking about EA in general, and talking about the huge fat fucking L that Square took on that Avengers.
And we
You
should
want to talk
probably
about Avengers?
I would, six. What was it? $68 million L.
Yeah, that was this is fucking atrocious. I want to see EA get rid of microtransactions. Okay, that's a hell of a hope to want, but
If you want EA to
huh,
get rid of microtransactions, stop using microtransactions.
absolutely, you gotta stop
Like
purchasing.
you have to push with your wallet. Like that sucks,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. Because they know that they make a lot of fucking money off of that. And actually, like FIFA makes them fucking dummy money.
Yep. If you want EA to stop using microtransactions, you gotta stop paying them for those microtransactions.
And this isn't like at you
Never did. Hell
specifically.
yeah.
I would say this isn't at you like specifically, Zero. This is like in general. Like the
Mhm.
the greater majority of people need to stop using them.
I think EA is like the devil as far as gaming companies go.
But what about
But
my
what about my
Genshin?
Genshin rolls?
Listen, you playing into a gotcha game is not my fault.
Like we know what gotchas are. I play gotcha games. I love Genshin. I talked about Genshin thoroughly on our last podcast, and I still spend money on Genshin. But like that's my own doing. Like you don't have to spend money on Genshin to get characters. Is the thing. Like you can get characters without putting money into Genshin. Now it's faster to get characters and it's faster to get copies of characters on Genshin by putting money into the game. Otherwise, you have to sit around and wait. I've only spent money and it's on the battle pass. Okay, that's fair.
I like the battle pass format. Like
Yeah, I do like battle pass.
because for like what $10 every depends on the game, like every couple of months or every couple months, something like that, like $10 just to get, and then you get content out of it, or you can buy your way through it, whatever. Like whales exist. They're gonna
Yeah,
fucking they're gonna spend a gajillion dollars.
absolutely. And Marshall says Nintendo is Apple, EA is the free mobile game market. Accurate comparison. And I agree. I agree. EA is like a free mobile game. You get a freaking game on your phone, and you start playing. You're like, damn, this is pretty all right. You know, it'd be better if I could get some stuff to go along with it. And then you look at it, and it's like $20 for like an add-on to a fucking phone game. It's like, why am I going to spend $20 on a phone game? But I don't
I
know.
would also argue that Sony is the Apple and not Nintendo.
Would you?
Mhm.
Why is that?
Because before this year, like they were all about locking down their proprietary properties. Like you couldn't do shit with anything
That's fair.
outside of their own market. That's why
Yeah, I feel you.
like knock on wood, calling it again if it happens, like Sony launches their own streaming service.
I
Like their
wouldn't
actual
doubt
like
it.
Twitch essential like Twitch pivot service.
Um, Shads wants to hear us talk about Avengers.
So the game, in my opinion, like plays really well. The campaign was really good. I liked Kamala Khan. I thought it was really interesting to watch a person like play as a character that was fangirling about your favorite characters while meeting the characters. Like that's sick. Um,
Yeah, she literally lived out like all of our wants, essentially.
right. But like we're how many months deep now and there's no raid?
Yeah,
Like they we've been told that there is a raid or a raid like thing in development, unless it's these hives. Like
yeah.
that's
I don't.
that's
I'm pretty
like
sure there's a full on raid being developed. I want
like
to say that
it's
I
supposed
read
yeah,
it.
it's supposed to be a raid, and that's you're supposed to hit the power cap, but like they haven't raised the power cap or anything like that recently.
Yeah, I'm still sitting at 149. Like I can't get any higher than that. There's like
I haven't played the game in like 6 weeks.
I've put on so much like high tier armor and shit, and I still can't get anywhere up to 150. Like I'm at 149. That's the highest I can get, and I haven't found anything better than what I have. In which game? In Avengers. Um, Marshall says Nintendo games only lead themselves to their own consoles, or only lend themselves to their own consoles. They crack down hard on legal cases. They make anti-consumer decisions. Pretty commonly, that has to be 100% Apple. And I kind of agree with Marshall on this, rather than thinking that Sony would be the Apple, and that's because like anything that involves uh that water bottle. That's not a water bottle, but that's a coffee mug. That's a coffee mug.
This
That
is
is nothing but coffee.
1.1 gallons of black coffee.
He's disturbing. I know. I've told him before. How many ounces? But okay. So like for instance, like I can't play Legend of Zelda Wind Waker anymore unless I have it on my GameCube. Now I don't have a GameCube anymore. My GameCube has stopped working, so I got rid of it. And because I got rid of it, I got rid of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, all of Pikmin, all of that stuff. You know, and God forbid, I download. Uh, God forbid I find a way to obtain a game that is no longer on a disc, right? And I use it, and I get an email from Nintendo giving me like a cease and desist, which has happened.
Nintendo of America in the past like 2 years, and I say Nintendo of America because specifically, like, I haven't heard the international cases, but the actual the U.S. cases like you have access to most of the time, unless it's settled out of court. Like,
right.
their Nintendo of America has been pretty shisty. Like, not gonna lie. Apparently, there was some Twitch streamer that actually had to like not too terribly long ago. She had to rebrand her whole shit because she was very now. Granted, like she was damn near using like Pokemon specific. It was specifically Pokemon, like Pokemon licensed properties to like make her merchandise. And she had to completely like redo her branding because her name was like Pokey Princess or something, and then she had to change it to Digital Princess or some shit like that.
I remember reading this. Let's see. Marshall says explains why he's rocking in his chair with his eyes wide open. So much caffeine. Hope you're okay with all that energy in your nerves. Trust, he's been doing it for years. He is a-okay with it. He needs that energy for his almost 6-year-old. It's more Nintendo of Japan cracking down on fan games. It all comes down from Nintendo of Japan and then up the chain. JoJo turned 3 today, so wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, JoJo.
Something nice. Happy birthday, JoJo! But no, like, I downloaded Wind Waker, and I had the disc, and they sent me an email after I downloaded from a normal site that I usually get, like, Pokemon games and stuff off of. Anyways, that I normally get Pokemon games and stuff off of. And they sent me an email, and they were like, yeah, we're going to have to ask you to delete that, and if we see that it pops up on your IP again, we'll be sending you a lawsuit. I was like, wow, really? So I deleted it. And that is absolutely ridiculous. To me, personally, I think it's ridiculous. Like, there's no way that you can own that game anymore or play it. Like, I can't go to GameStop and buy it. Like, the only way I can buy it is if I get it from a third party, which would be, like, buying it on, like, Amazon.
Is secondhand,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Yeah, exactly. And outside of that, like, there's no way that I can play that game, regardless of how much I would want to play that game again. Now, going back to our discussion, this is why I keep my games only playable on my device. Yeah, that's fair. But going back to the topic at hand, EA, Dragon Age, and Mass Effect.
Wait, are we pivoting away from Avengers right now?
Yeah, because there's not really much to talk about as far as Avengers goes. So, like, as far as Avengers goes, like, we have absolutely nothing. Okay, like, we were promised things that we haven't gotten. We're still waiting on the DLC. They didn't want to release the DLC until they fucking released the new consoles, which I can understand. We're supposed to be getting, like, a new map to Avengers, right? For Wakanda. But even still, like, we don't have anything else at that point. Like, We don't even have a raid. We have nothing to really prove what we've done in the game at all.
Mhm.
Okay, and the missions and stuff are very repetitive, and it's kind of annoying. And I'm kind of over it at this point. You know what I mean? Like until they put raids into it, I don't see a point in playing the game or
I
even
mean,
new characters.
even if they put raids in, like, so what? But at this point in time, like your content roadmap is so long, and what I mean by that is like the destinations are few and far between. Like, bitch, I gotta stop to get gas sometime, or I gotta turn around. Like, if there ain't no gas station between here and there, like, fuck this. I'm not doing it.
uh, Zero said the player base for Avengers fell off by 96%.
I'm genuinely not surprised.
That's a 68 million. Was it 68 million?
Yeah.
$68 million L that they took.
Square loss
That
on
Square took from that.
Avengers. $62 million in the quarter. For the quarter. God damn. Has
Jesus
reportedly
Christ.
loses 62 million in the quarter of release, and then apparently, where was it? I just saw it. Where? Oh my god, fuck you and your pop-ups.
Like
Okay, I got to get off this page because it was showing like a clip of Halo Infinite and I was about to cry again. But
I'd be much happier with Metal Arms glitch in the system reboot. Ooh, that'd be Metal
that
Arms.
game was
cool.
sick.
Yeah, Metal Arms is fucking cool.
Because like I thought the damage system was very unique, where like your like parts would like start be hanging off of you and shit.
Yeah. You know, actually, I don't think I told you about this, but a few months ago, I went on to Square's Twitter account and I attacked them on Twitter.
God damn.
I started just like typing away on Twitter, and I was like, okay, all these games are cool and all, and Kingdom Hearts 3 fucking sucked until you put out that DLC. But where the hell is my goddamn remaster of fucking Soul Eater, or not Soul Eater, of a freaking oh god, I can't remember. The Legacy of Kain. Like, where's my remaster of Legacy of Kain series? I want Raziel back. I want Kain back. Like, what's going on with this shit? Like, why am I not getting it? Why have you guys forsaken it? And the thing is they keep rebuying the fucking the trademark for the game. They keep rebuying it. Which means that they have no intentions of letting anybody make another game for it. Okay, but at the same time, like, what are you guys doing with it? All of us have been sitting here waiting for the next game, and it's been years. It's been almost like 15 fucking years since we've gotten the last game. You know what I mean? And they keep buying the trademark for it. Like, where the hell is that, Square? Like, why can't I get a freaking Legacy of Kain remaster for the new consoles? Like, what are we doing? Why is this happening? Marshall says also controlling your enemies when you get behind them, or being able to drive the armored vehicles, the upgradable guns as well. There was so much there. Yeah, dude, Metal Arms is fucking awesome. Like, hold on. It's been a while since I've even seen it. I remember playing Metal Arms though. Hold on. Glitch in the system. Yeah, it's the yellow guy. Yeah. This is it. Yeah, this was freaking sick. This was a good game. I do remember this.
The robots talk shit.
Yeah, they just talk shit to each other. Yeah. But so yeah, like those are my little bits and pieces. I don't know. I want to talk a little bit more about Mass Effect though, because we're getting the Legendary Edition, which is like a complete remaster to all of Mass Effect. That's huge. That's a fucking giant step right there. It's a complete remaster to all of our
That's a
all
fat ass
games.
install. That's gonna be fat.
Yeah, it's gotta be. They actually released a little like trailer thing for it to kind of see what it's gonna look like. Hold on, let me see if I can get it pulled up. I I want to see it. I don't know if this is it or not, but all three Mass Effects remastered. Yeah, all three of the original Mass Effects are being remastered. It's called the Legend. It's called Legendary. I want to see if this is it right here. So this right here. Sorry, I'm blocking our faces, Thomas. But let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, so like we have that. That's pretty much the only thing that I think we do have. Okay, and it's going to be completely optimized for 4K Ultra HD and will be available in spring of 2021 for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation 5. More information is coming at the on New Year's. We're supposed to
Mhm.
be getting new information for it. And then they released a little photo, and I'll show the little photo real quick for everybody, so that way you guys can take a look at it. Um, this is oh my god, it didn't, it totally did that to me. So let's see. God dang it. Whatever. All right, so they released a little photo for it, and it's kind of just like a teaser. But apparently, they're doing that, so we're getting a complete remaster to all three of the original Mass Effect games. And then I think they're supposed to be doing something with Mass Effect Andromeda, and they're working on a new game, a new Mass Effect game, which is also huge because, and I think we went over this last week, or not last week, but last podcast as well, where we said if they decide to actually make a new Mass Effect game and they drop it and it's as bad, quote unquote, of as Mass Effect Andromeda was, the series is done. Now I liked Andromeda personally, but there are people out there who obviously did not like it.
I didn't.
Zero. Yeah. Zero says, "Do you think they will act like Andromeda never happened? I hope not, because I liked Andromeda. Yeah, I liked Andromeda too. However, I will say if they go back and make Andromeda non-existent, like non-canon to the main story, I wouldn't be mad about it. To
Like
be
if they
honest,
pivot, if they
I
pivot
would.
back to the Milky Way or whatever
Yeah,
instead of
or
wherever
something.
what is it, Hyperion or whatever.
Yeah, and like we know, so Mass Effect 1 through 3 is gonna always be canon at this point. Okay,
Hmm.
so the Milky Way galaxy is done because the Reavers came in and destroyed fucking everything. There was nothing that we could do. Now, it is canon in the third game that they sent humans and Turians and everybody else out into space to make sure that their race lives on. Okay. Now, so since that's all canon, we could be looking at like a completely redone version of what Andromeda would have been, but like not Andromeda, if that makes sense. Or they're just gonna make a second Andromeda game, and if it's bad, it's gonna kill Mass Effect as a series. Um, so I really hope that they upgrade all the textures for the Mass Effect games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're doing like an overhaul for all the graphics. Zero says the ship in the photo looks more like from Outer Worlds, and yeah, it kind of does.
But the Outer Worlds is sick as
And
fuck, so I'm not even mad about it.
Outer Worlds was pretty good, but I kind of got tired with Outer Worlds because I was sick of like doing quests and then being like, all right, go to this planet, now go to this planet, now come back to this planet, now go to this planet again, then come back to me, and I'm gonna send you to another planet. Then you're gonna come back to me again, and then the quest is like I hate doing that shit. That's so annoying.
I did actually.
Um,
One of the wild things about the Outer Worlds that I enjoyed the most about it was short. Like it was like I put probably like 35, 40 hours in one playthrough, and I was like, oh, this is it, it's done. Like okay,
yeah, it was a
like
relatively short
I
game.
was fine with that. I mean, considering the fact that like game fatigue is a fucking thing. Like as a man who has I beat both The Witcher 3 and fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 in like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
like in a 2 week window.
Blaze says, wasn't the only issue with Andromeda the bugs? No, there was a lot more.
Like
So
because
when
my issues with Andromeda were like the narrative pace I didn't really like. I couldn't really like vibe with the cast of characters. I don't, that could
I
be
did like them.
that could have been like personal bias due to like I love the old cast and I was just not down for new. But also
Yeah.
like I hated the like the world exploration. Like all the none of the worlds like really grabbed me.
Yeah, they were
Um
kind of boring, like driving around the world, and I don't know.
it,
That was kind of
it
boring.
was one of the games where like there was so much space but nothing filled the space, which is the issue with just the issue with a lot of like open world games as a whole.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Blaze. Like, first of all, one of the big issues that came from Andromeda was when they showed off Andromeda at E3. They showed it off looking a hell of a lot better than what they released it at. And usually you would expect it to be like, this is the rough idea of what we're going for, and then when you get it, it's going to be better than what were previously shown. But I mean, recently they've gotten into this habit, and I'm saying they as in like a generalization of all these companies. I've gotten into the habit of showing off a game, and it looks a hell of a lot better than what a finished copy is, and that can't happen. We can't let that happen.
Also, like
Um,
we live in the culture of the day one patch, and day one patches are fucking. When was the last time like you got a game and it fucking worked right? Like day
yeah,
one, I just cracked this bitch open, put it in my
and now you have a
console of
2 GB.
choice, or booted it up on my PC, and the shit just worked. No
Yeah,
bugs, no shit. It just worked.
and now you get like a 2 GB, sometimes 3 GB fucking day one up update on your console to play the damn game. Zero says my issue is we were introduced to a new galaxy and we were only introduced to 2 new races, and yeah, that's kind of fucked. Like, in all honesty, because the introduction of only 2 new races in a whole different galaxy, far, far away from the Milky Way, right? Makes no fucking sense. You would expect there would be a lot more out there rather than just two.
Especially because it had like pre-existing like culture and stuff. Like you'd expect it to be
Yeah,
more than just two races.
exactly. Also, they screwed people over with the Quarians and Hanner DLC content. I actually didn't buy the DLC. I wasn't about to buy the DLC. I enjoyed the game. I had fun playing it, but once I beat it, I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore, and I set it down. Like, I'll be real. That's how I felt about it. It wasn't like Inquisition, the third installment into Dragon Age. I loved it. I wanted to play it again. As soon as I beat it, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go again." But as soon as I beat Andromeda, I was like, "I'm done. I don't want to play it anymore." They canned it. Oh, they got rid of it. Okay, but they had a cliffhanger moment that led to it, and then they just got rid of the deal. See, yeah, that's kind of fucked. I feel like there's more love in the Dragon Age creation than there is in the Mass Effect creation at this point. You know what I mean?
I just think it's BioWare showing its age. Like they as a company are not what we remember. The BioWare they've ran out of magic. You know,
Yeah.
like because Anthem is the primest example of that, which is like, you know, it's different from both of these series, but like apparently what had one of the worst developments period. They actually, so what they wanted to call the game before the first like E3 press release was Beyond. They wanted to call it Beyond.
I think I
And
remember that. It
and
was
they
called
had
Beyond.
actually like already created like memorabilia and stuff to have for the staff and all sorts of shit. And then EA was like, "Yo, well, it's going to be kind of hard to get this copyrighted." And they were like, "Okay, well, we're going to change it." Like the fallback plan was Anthem, and then they were like, "Why are we calling this Anthem?" So like they actually made the game around the name of the game.
Hmm.
Um Speaking of Anthem, isn't it supposed to be completely remade? So they've been talking about that for almost 2 years now. Because I played Anthem, I loved it for what it was at the time. It was like it was Destiny with more umph
Yeah.
is what I felt like, because like you could more actively use your powers and more actively do shit, and also like flying around like Iron Man is sick as fuck. Um, but like it's not. There was nothing there at the end of the game. Like there was
Yeah.
no end game.
I remember.
There was no like anything. It was just grind these same strongholds over and over until you fucking your brain explodes.
Also, it was like dangerous to play the damn game because my buddy at one of the bases I was stationed at, he downloaded it. He bought it when it came out. He had a pre-order and everything. Downloaded it to his computer. The second he started playing it, it crashed, and then it bricked his fucking computer. And then they put out a thing saying that if you were playing Anthem and it bricked your fucking CPU, you could send your computer to them and they'll fix it for you, or they'll send you a new setup or something along those lines. Something it was. I don't know if it was the CPU or if it was like the graphics card or something along those lines. I have no idea what it was, but I remember it bricked a certain thing and it would cause your entire computer to just fucking shit itself. And it also happened on the PlayStation as well. Yeah, Marshall says it bricked the PS4 as well. Yeah. So that was like another problem with the game. It had a really harsh release, man. Like when that shit dropped and it had all those bugs and it didn't have much to it and it was damaging your fucking system. Like that's where the problems lie right there. Like nobody wants to play it. Nobody wants to play it if it's gonna damage what you own. You know what I mean? Like my buddy Kyle bought it uh years later, like recently, and we were all on PlayStation and he dropped out of the party chat and we were trying to figure out what's going on with him. And his whole PlayStation was broken. Like it wouldn't even turn on. And he had to send it to PlayStation to get it fixed. And that was when he was playing Anthem years later, like only like 2 or 3 months ago at this point.
The thing is like the premise of the game was like so sick. Like the anthem of creation could like cause a world changing event, whatever. And I remember like I had got geared up and I was waiting for the first, like the first, I think it was called like a catastrophe or some shit like that. Like the first one was right here, it was days away. And I'm like, yo, I'm so stoked. And they were like, oh, we're putting this on hold indefinitely. And I was like,
Yeah.
but what? Oh, and they're like, yeah, we're trying to fix the game. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll put this on the shelf and just keep it pushing. And then they're like, yeah, we're actually like gonna remake the game. And I'm like, but are you? Well,
Do I have to rebuy it? Like
it's just like it sounds like some shit that happened to Amazon. Released a game not too long ago called Crucible, which it didn't do well, and they put it back. Like it released, and then it went back into closed beta, and then they just scrapped the whole thing. And it sounds like that's what's going to happen with Anthem. Like they're never going to come back to it. And it just like BioWare just I've lost a lot of my faith in them. Like this doesn't even have anything to do with fucking EA. It's the studio itself. Like they've just their quality of content has changed a fucking lot in the past, was it 15 years now. Granted, like that times changed, shit changed, people changed, like everything is going on during this time frame. But like you were heralded as the greatest storytellers of your time and creating, they were like the anti Bethesda, because Bethesda released games and the bugs were supposed to be quirky or whatever. They were supposed to be a part of the charm, but like the games were supposed to be as solid as they could be with the bugs included. And like BioWare was that, but with no bugs. And then Andromeda came out, and then it was like, ooh, yo, this is a yikes, bud. Like, why her face do that? Like, and then it was.
Are you talking about Peavey? Are you talking about when it, like her fucking face like imploded on itself?
It was just like no, I'm talking about like the textures for people's like face, like they talked like this.
Oh yeah,
like there was weird rigging for the faces, which they did patch out. They fixed all that kind of shit, but like it was then like the narrative did not grab me like the rest of the Mass Effect games did, because the first like probably 40 minutes of the other Mass Effect games, like I was in it, I was hooked, I'm out here, like I'm down.
Shepard was a really good character.
Like Andromeda didn't grab me like that, but I gave it its time. I tried, and I was just like, I'm bored. This feels like time wasty as fuck. And I was like, I don't have, like, I just put that shit down and I was like, I'm gonna play this when I'm mentally refreshed or whatever, and I just never came back to it.
Right. And I don't know, man, like after the events of what happened with everybody as far as Mass Effect 3's ending went, a lot of people just kind of like lost faith in Mass Effect. Like everything you didn't matter at the end of Mass Effect 3. But in Mass Effect Andromeda, some of the things that you did, they talked about in the game. You know what I mean? So it matters in that aspect of things, you know? Or when they talk about Shepard, was he a good guy? Was he a shitty person? Like, what did he do? You know, like that matters at that point. But after the events of 3, where no matter what you do, you have an inevitable ending that has to happen, you know? Everybody was upset, and honestly, I wasn't upset about the ending of 3. I was happy with the way that 3 ended, to be honest, in all regards of everything. Like, Shepard did his best and what was expected of him
Hmm.
the entire time, right? All the way through to the end of Mass Effect 3. He did what he could do within his power to make sure that the galaxy wouldn't be destroyed, or that the human race wouldn't be eradicated, or whatever, you know? Like, he did his best, and it wasn't good enough. And that's a hell of a fucking lesson to learn, you know? Like, nobody likes that kind of lesson, but it's a good lesson to learn. And I'm not saying they're out here teaching people shit. I'm saying, like, it's it wasn't a fairy tale ending. And it shouldn't be. Personally, I don't think it should be. I don't think Mass Effect 3 should have had a fairy tale ending where everybody left. I think the best ending was when Joker and Edie left and they ended up on some fucking planet in the middle of nowhere. I think that's probably the best ending
I like
in general.
I like Zero's idea. He says, "So what I want from the new Mass Effect: start with the Reapers getting defeated, choose one ending as canon. Now you need to help rebuild the galaxy and reconnect people." Like I think that would be sick as fuck. Like you'd be like a wayfarer or whatever, and like your job is to like reconnect the people and figure out a way without using Mass Effect relays to connect the reconnect the galaxy. Like I
That would
think
be
that'd be
really cool.
sick.
Yeah, instead of just restarting in a whole different fucking galaxy, miles and miles, hundreds of miles away, you know? Like, thousands, millions of miles away. But like rebuilding what was after defeating this impossible force, like that would be okay. I could accept that. Now, what Marshall said is being fucked over at the end of a game is not a bad thing. I'm tired of people being angry when you get the ending that doesn't say you win on it. And I kind of agree with Marshall on that. Like, one of my favorite games of all time is the Legacy of Kain series, right? And everybody wanted to see Raziel come out on top of things. We weren't expecting what happened, and if I'm gonna let you guys know now, that game has been out for goddamn nearly 15 years. And if you guys get upset with me spoiling anything, that is on you. That is on you. You had time, ample time to play that series. Now, when Raziel gets stabbed with Kane's sword and he gets absorbed into the sword, and now he's no longer a factor in the world, people were upset about it. But it happened. You know what I mean? Like, it was a fitting way for him to go out. We all wanted to see Raziel succeed and do the thing and be amazing, right? And have that big fucking you win. But no, he got stabbed with Kane's sword. He was absorbed into it. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. That's it. End. Raziel's over. He won't be coming back. You know what I mean? And fuck, like what else? Like nobody wanted to see Desmond die in Assassin's Creed 3. Nobody wanted that. We all wanted to see what Desmond was going to be like, all grown into a full blown assassin in the modern world. We all wanted that.
I genuinely wish that Assassin's Creed had pivoted more like Desmond gain a still skill set and then Desmond be modern day assassin. Like I think that would have been sick as fuck.
I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to it either. But I'm also not upset with what we got.
No,
I
I'm
love
not.
how Zero says, I love how the Mass Effect ending tricked you. You were conditioned red choices are bad, but technically it was the good choice. Yep. um and like Marshall said, I love Cry of Fear because there's an ending where you're happy, but you're still looked after in a mental ward to be treated, while the other ending you end your own life. Yeah. I
I mean,
mean, games don't have to have a oh shit. You know this shit. Come on, Thomas. Come on,
What?
Thomas. You know this.
I can't.
You can't hear it? Oh, that's depressing. Thank you so much for the subscription, Sweeps. I appreciate you. Zach Fact. Zach suffers from the condition of verbal diarrhea, therefore he has an excuse to always be talking shit. Yes, absolutely. You're 100% right. And I'm sure Thomas would agree with that. But yeah, like a game doesn't have to a game doesn't have to have a good ending for it to be a good ending. Would you agree with that?
Have you ever heard of a game called That Dragon Cancer?
No.
It's literally the journey. It was actually a game developed by parents that their kid died of cancer, and the game, it tells the story of the child as he is dying of cancer. So like,
that's not okay.
like,
What?
sometimes there is no happy ending. There is no roses at the end. There is no congratulations, here's your victory wreath, and you can just keep on pushing. Like, sometimes
that's so fucked up.
Sometimes life is finite as fuck and the ending sucks because sometimes people's life ends in shitty ass ways. It is Absolutely. What it is. It is what it is. Like, a story doesn't have to tell you, a story doesn't have to give you victory for the sake of victory. Like, sometimes the story does not lend itself to go in that direction. And we are conditioned as I guess it's one of the conversation of the evolution of gaming as a media or whatever. Because, early video games was either A, about competing for high scores, or B, getting the serotonin of, you won, congratulations, you're the fucking greatest. And then suddenly, like, we are getting to the more like exposition, pieces of like reflecting on humanity as a whole, or reflecting on life as a whole, and just talking about like how life doesn't go the way you want it to 150% of the time. Like, sometimes life just sucks and like it's over. Like, I mean, the gotcha ending at the end of God of War 3, where as far as you know, Kratos is fucking dead. Crawls into the sea and the world's fucking ending because all the gods are dead and all shit's hitting the fan and everything's wild as fuck.
Right. Zero says the whole games are fun and for kids stigma. Yeah, it's that stigma where all games are fun and for kids. Marshall says, I know that game, such as the one that you were just talking about, the one about cancer. But he said, I know that game, it's fucked, but there's also another game like that called To the Moon. It's such a fucking good game for being an RPG maker game. I haven't played that either.
It's good. It's super good. You will be upset. You will be upset. I'm not lying. Like, you might cry.
I don't doubt it.
It's super good, though.
So, Thomas, what are your overall thoughts on Mass Effect 3's ending and where you would like to see the game go? Yourself. What would you think?
Honestly, when Mass Effect 3 ended, like, I just thought the story was over. Like, I just thought it was over and it was done, and I had closure. Like, maybe I didn't like the ending. Maybe I did. Like, it was all dependent. I unified everything. Like, I mixed it all together. I made the synthesis and people, like, whatever. And, I was like, okay. And honestly, I was like surprised that Andromeda even existed. And then when they were like, oh yeah, we're pivoting to a whole different galaxy, I was like, okay, that's literally the only way you can do this right now, because like, how else would you like continue from this point forward? And then now with another Mass Effect I thought the series was dead. Like, I thought it was just like, okay, you can give me the remaster. Like, I enjoyed the series for what it was when it came out. I was super happy with where the story of the original trilogy ended as like a whole. But like, it's one of those like, I hope that they're not just trying to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
They're trying to make this motherfucker run until the wheels fall off kind of shit. Like, cause I don't know where they could go. Like, I mean, yeah, you could revisit the Andromeda Galaxy and like have that whole conversation. Or you could revisit like reconnecting the worlds and like have that whole conversation too. But also, another thing is the game doesn't necessarily even have to be an RPG. And it could be like a first person shooter prequel of you're the what were they called, the Protheans fighting the Reapers, or you could be
Yeah.
it could be anything. And actually I think I would prefer a spin-off franchise rather than like we're trying to reignite this, like we're trying to restart the fire um that is the like we're trying to capture lightning in a bottle again. That was the original trilogy, because like mechanically and RPG speaking, like the original trilogy was pretty good, especially for its time. It was damn near perfect.
Yeah.
The first Contact Wars would be sick as fuck.
That would
Like,
be really cool. The first Contact Wars would be fucking sick to
like
live through.
it doesn't have to. I have almost the opposite opinion for Mass Effect that I have for Dragon Age, where I want Dragon Age to continue the story and keep the story together or bring the story back together. I want Mass Effect to do something completely different. Like
To
I
go
want
ahead and just end this shit.
well, like Shepard's story is done, and you definitely did not. I don't even remember what the protagonist of Andromeda's name was.
Yeah, I actually just played through and beat Andromeda, and I can't even tell you what his name was. I just knew he was some kind of dickhead that was harvesting humans and other aliens and trying to converge them into his race.
Like, it was Ryder? Yeah, because they were like a Pathfinder or some shit.
That's the protagonist.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought you said antagonist.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, the protagonist is Ryder, the Ryder twins.
That one's in a coma
Yeah.
for most of the game or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of really weird mods out there.
But like,
don't
I really want them to do something completely different. Where you could do the Contact Wars, you could do the fucking Prothean Reaper Wars, you could do a whole bunch of other shit, but like, don't try to remake Mass Effect. Don't do it. It's over. And it's fine that it's over. All good things come to an end. It's fine. What's not fine is trying to ride that shit until the wheels fall off and then suddenly people do not look at the franchise fondly anymore. Because I would hate for it to get to a point where like they keep trying to shove this in my face to the point that I'm just like, dude, I cannot. I'm burnt out. Like I cannot touch this anymore. Where like the benefit of like takes, I guess when it comes to like sci-fi analogies, like take Star Wars, right? Like Star Wars, you can tell so many different stories in Star Wars. You can tell the story of the Jedi. You could tell the story of the Sith. You could tell the story of a bounty hunter. You could tell the story of a guy, a random on the side of the street that runs a fucking hot dog stand, and it would make sense. You could make it make sense. Like, and it just be on the backdrop of the Star Wars universe. Like, just do that. Don't try to make it some big grandiose like experience. Like just have like a bite of the galaxy, or maybe just set it to the backdrop of the universe and just do some shit.
Yeah, like we don't need to be in Sevens. We don't need to be a Pathfinder. We don't need to be this absolutely insane like meddled up character. Like I mean like metals like military, you know? Like we don't need something like that. Like think about this. You could make a Mass Effect game that takes place in the world of Mass Effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you play a smuggler, right? And the whole idea is to build up some kind of way and format of sneaking your way onto the Andromeda Initiative, so that way you can make it to the Andromeda worlds. You know what I'm saying? And you make it to the Andromeda Galaxy. Like that's a thing that's doable. Like you can do something like that.
You could literally make a Mass Effect game about being a beat cop on the fucking Citadel.
That would be fucking sick. I would totally play that.
Like, there's so much that you can do. Stop. Like, sometimes, like, the universe you have is fine. Stop trying to do the thing again. Like, I guess that's, like, if you think about it, that's what happened with Fable. Like, Fable, like, you had the universe and you kept trying to do the thing again. You kept wanting to tell Chosen One stories. And but well, like, one, if every guy that is ever your protagonist is the chosen one, you're invalidating the previous one to some degree, because that means that whatever that person did had no real, like, lasting effect.
Right.
Because
That's why I think the like games like Morrowind do so well. Like, you're not some fucking chosen one. You're just some random fucking guy that got caught up in,
yeah,
or like Oblivion. Oblivion was like that too.
I think Skyrim's was fine because, like, it was like dragons kill dragons, but besides that, like, there was no greatness besides the fact that you were dragonborn. But also, like, you weren't the only person that could use a shout either. So, like, it was fine.
Yeah. But then I guess you would be taking away from Fable at that point, because the whole point of the Fable is to have the character that's supposed to come out on top of the this whole, like, mystical ordeal of things, you know? So, like, I guess you would have to stick with the chosen one idea
I mean,
because of that definition.
well, it like boils the conversation like the Heroes Guild, like, before, like, you know, the hero of Oakvale, like Slayer Jack of Blades, like, you could have just a hero who does hero shit. I don't gotta save the world to be a hero.
Yeah.
I can just, damn, man, you got hollows at your farm, Brody. I got you. Just give me my money.
Yeah, I'll stroll on over.
Like, kind of tell like a Fable story in the vein of a Witcher story, where it's just like, yo, you got some problems. If you got a problem, yo, I solve it. Like,
right.
I'm out here doing shit because why the fuck not?
Right.
What else am I supposed to do? Gotta eat somehow, man. This is my fucking job.
Marshall says, I want a Metroid Prime Hunters game like Metroid. Hunters. I want a Metroid Prime Hunters like Metroid game again. God, that is a hell of a fucking congregation of words. Because if you ever seen how that plays, the character turns or runs so fast. Moving and shooting actually made it feel like you were Samus, like you were the Samus you see in the cutscenes. The agility and the speed of the Varia suit really comes through. Zero says, I love the Mandalorian TV shows because it doesn't focus on the Jedi. It's all about the galaxy coping with the Empire falling apart after 6. And yes, I think that's a really big reason why it does so well. Is because, I'm going to be real, like, we've outdone the whole Jedi thing at this point. Like, we get it. We know what Jedis do. We know what Sith Lords do. We understand all that shit. One thing that we don't ever see is, like, the gross backdrop of what is Star Wars, right? Like, the Mandalorian's a bounty hunter. He goes to all these spots that we never fucking ever see in or do in any of the Star Wars games or any of the movies. Like, yeah, we go to bars and stuff in the movies and shit, but it's like a whole different, like, underworld that we're talking about as far as Star Wars goes, and all the crazy negatives and shit that happens with Mandalorian in the TV show. Like, that's what people are interested in right now. Like, we've done it. We've lived the whole Jedi life several times over at this point. We want to see the other stuff that it has to offer. You know, there's other stuff in that world that we can do. Marshall says RDR2 does this right because of Arthur Morgan and John being average Joes. I agree. That is another thing that I really enjoyed about Red Dead Redemption, was that you were just an average guy. You weren't some big bad fucking crazy cool world depends on you kind of person.
You just rolled with the punches and stumbled upon, like, perceived greatness, not like actual, like, I'm gonna go down in legend greatness, but, like,
exactly,
man, you know, like, I built a homestead and my family, like, had a place to live, and that's sick.
And then I died.
And or, man, I tried to right my wrongs, and then I died.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the big reasons that Red Dead Redemption does so well for itself too. Is like, you were just a guy telling his story. Like, you're not some fucking superhero character. You're just an average Joe. Like, the stuff that they do, anybody probably could have done in that time period. You know what I mean? Like it's a doable thing. Um, but anyway, oh man, Thomas, what else do we have to talk about?
We can talk about how Phasmophobia is sick as fuck.
Yo, I love Phas. I play Phasmophobia right fucking now. I don't care. They're introducing a new or they already introduced a new ghost, and they're introducing a new map to Phasmophobia.
That's sick.
So, yeah, it's a prison map, and then the new ghost that they're introducing to Phasmophobia is like it walks on its like it looks like the ring. Looks like
Oh,
the
it
girl from The
crawls.
Ring.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah, like crawls and shit, and they'll like, crawl on the
I'm gonna
wall
end
and
up
stuff.
like punching my fucking monitor or some shit.
He said, "Oh fuck." No. But chat, what do you guys have to say about any of this stuff? Did you hear that EA is getting a lawsuit all over the world due to loot boxes? Are they still getting sued for loot boxes? I thought Canada was suing them, and it was just
We as a global like consensus has decided that loot boxes are fucking predatory as shit. Because the thing
Well,
is,
yeah, they
is like
teach how to fucking gamble and shit.
right, like the thing is opening something with a chance to do something is always fucked. Blizzard's also getting the same lawsuits because like their loot box mechanic in Overwatch.
Blaze says, didn't that happen a while ago? Actually, no, Blaze. In our last podcast, we actually just talked about how Canada had just started a lawsuit on EA for loot boxes involving like FIFA and UFC and Battlefront, and Battlefield, a bunch of other games. If you guys are interested in checking out the other podcast that Rewrite and I did, it is on our YouTube channel. I can go ahead and it's right here. I'll link you guys right now. So go check out that podcast. That's our very first podcast. If you would like, comment, subscribe, that'd be super helpful. I would appreciate it. It's really good for the YouTube algorithm. And we discussed a lot of the interesting things in there as far as Fable, as far as Cyberpunk, as far as the new consoles, and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely go give that a look-see. And we definitely talked about EA and them getting sued by Canada, which is awesome because I fucking hate EA.
See, so I was giving EA the benefit of the doubt when they corrected Battlefront 2. Like, I'm like, okay, you know, maybe the CEO or COO or whatever of the company like is actually trying to make changes that benefit the company, like benefit the people that work there and the company as a whole. And, you know, fuck me, I guess, for trying to have faith in people, but whatever. Because, like,
especially
because, like, I hate the fact that, like, the mastery of the meta of the gaming capitalist market has got to the point where everyone's just trying to put half-ass work and siphon all of our money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate that we've got to that point, you know.
Can we just allow it?
Yeah. Like, when was the last time you played something that was like a labor of love? Like, you could feel it.
Valhalla is a good one.
That didn't on the back end of the game. Like, you find out that the workers were treated like shit.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Good question.
Like,
Clay said,
when was the last time you played a game that a AAA game specifically? Because you hear all the indie stuff is made with a lot of love, and you can definitely see it. And yeah, maybe sometimes it's a little rough around the edges, but like it's solid content. Valorant's by Riot. They're sexist as fuck.
They are.
They actually had like a whole female staff walk out due to sexual harassment in the workplace. Like,
it do be like that. Metroid Prime 3, as I'm playing it right now. Metroid's a really good series. Honestly, Kite, if you're still here, what are some of these Metroidvania games that you've been playing? Blaze says a lot of the devs are ex CS:GO pros.
Yeah, I'm not arguing the quality of Valorant. Like, Valorant, mechanically speaking, is fucking amazing, and it's good that like somebody could pivot their skills for being professional, like a professional video game player into a game player. Like Scott Gandhi. I don't know if any of you old heads out here with got got some old Halo 2 knowledge, but Scott Gandhi used to play Halo 2 professionally. He developed a game recently called Road Company for Hi-Rez. And the game is actually pretty good. It's kind of like a CSE clone-y thing. But like it's pretty good. I don't know. I've enjoyed it. Riot Games is just disgusting and I want them to close. Like I apparently there's a lawsuit right now, actually. Like, hold on.
Is there?
Yeah, something over a skin. Seraphim lawsuit. I read it actually like just this morning.
Women threatens lawsuit saying Riot based Seraphim on her. Oh wow, she looks exactly like her. Jesus Christ. Riot Games denies woman's allegation that Seraphim's based on her. She looks just like her. Holy crap. I can live without League and Valorant. Hello. It's where I'm thinking of making my bacon, so I have no opinion. That's fair, Blaze. Yeah, I know you really enjoy Valorant. Yeah, this is it right here.
Like and like I said, I'm not saying that the game is bad, but what like the question I was posing was, is the game made by somebody that is not involved in any kind of fucking shenanigans, and the game is good?
She doesn't look anything like her.
It's something about a skin. It's something about a skin. I don't know what the whole thing is.
Okay, I got you. I'm looking at it. I'm reading it.
Ooh, is the person an influencer? Or is it just a random?
I think it's just a random. Yeah, I don't... I think it has something to do with this like outfit that she's wearing.
Yeah, it's the skin. The skin is based like supposedly the skin is based on her likeness. Like I'm not sure exactly like what it is. I literally like cursory glanced it. Maybe last night. I don't know. I was pretty drunk. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Let's see. Say that she's wearing her. Hold on.
Also, Blaze, I can get behind that statement. I'm the same way. I like a game where like I can test my metal.
I don't see anything. During a short relationship with she was dating someone in Riot that was working on League of Legends. And they think she says that the character that that she's talking about it was created by him. And that is where the likeness comes from. Seven claims that he would often bring up ideas for Ari skins based on her likeness. The employee also said that certain jokes Stephanie made while they played League of Legends should be put in the game. The former Riot employee also told Stephanie she should fly to Los Angeles to do the voice acting for a secret project. Stephanie ended up meeting up with the employee again and received a tour of Riot's campus. Then this is her talking about Ari here. But this is it right here. This is what she's talking about. Is this picture here. This is a little... Apparently this is a little character she drew up. And this is what ended up becoming Ari. As well. I don't know. This is weird. I would disregard this, honestly. Fuck that.
I don't know. Like that sounds kind of wild, but then also with this, here's my surprised face.
Zero says, Matt, do you know that Ainur Selvik Wadruna is making music for Valhalla. He also does music for Vikings. Oh, I did not know that. No. So that's interesting. It does have like a Vikings TV show feel to it. See, Blaze says, I don't know. I never really focus on a single player game. Play a lot of competitive games. Yeah, that is true. You usually stick to your competitive games, unless it's Persona. So I don't really pay attention to companies and all that. Fair enough. Devilish Gray says, well, they said that they weren't basing her off anyone, and then said it was based on one of the creator's friends. Yeah, that's kind of sus. Also, hello, Miss Meister. How are you doing? That's Casey, by the way. Devilish Grace. Marshall says, I know I talk about Metroid so much, but Metroid is the perfect example of a game that needs more clones, just because of how solid of an idea Prime is at the core. Alien worlds, alien allies, human allies, scanning, creepy, sinister villains, and cool puzzles that make use of your upgrades along the way, which is kind of a dying game at this point. Not Metroid, but like that idea is kind of dying out. Like look at Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda was almost exactly like that. And look at Breath of the Wild. It's completely different at this point. Like the game has changed and moved away from that.
Not to say that it's bad,
No, not at all.
but it is not what it used to be.
Exactly. But I think that Thomas, do you have anything you want to go ahead and add in? Chat, do you have any more questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I can't hold my PC. It's too big.
What? Why would you?
PC?
I hate you. I love you. I hate you and I love you. The Marshal says, it's just because people don't know how to make it work without people having complaints. People have no idea how to refresh it, which is what makes Metroid Prime unique. Blaze says, my piece is held. I would like to see another Metroid game. To be honest, I would like to see another Metroid game. I would love to see another first-person Metroid game, though. I don't really care for side-scrollers anymore. Devilish Chris said they came out with a new Zelda, or coming out with one. They are coming out with a new Legend of Zelda game, Breath of the Wild 2. And then the first Breath of the Wild was kind of weird.
They're making the Dynasty Warriors one, which is it's Hyrule Warriors 2, except
Hyrule
it's the
Warriors 2,
prequel to Breath of the Wild. And then they made a Crypt of the Necro Dancer spin-off for Zelda.
Marshall says the Prime 4 is in deep hell right now, so oh boy. Miss Meister, someone just opened up the garage, and I'm pretty sure Bailey's here. So if you want to come downstairs and greet her, because she's probably going to come in here and say something. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and end the podcast. Thomas, go ahead, say your piece. What do you got to say? Say something.
Nah, I'm chilling.
Okay, hold your PC then. Thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging out with us. I really do appreciate you guys. If you guys are interested at all, this podcast will be getting uploaded to our YouTube channel. I'm gonna go ahead and send the link up again, so that way you guys have it. So yeah, go check that out. Definitely come hang out and let's hang out and chit chat and do more podcasts. I'm gonna be going live again on Friday, so I'll see you guys then. Thomas, when are you going live?
Today.
Thomas is going live today, so make sure you guys go hang out with Thomas for a minute. I really do appreciate the fact that you guys come and hang out for this. I know Thomas does as well. And aside from that, I will see you all later. Bye-bye, everyone!